Hi, I'm Larry Karaszewski, and this is Trailers from Hell. Now, usually when you see the logo for Canon Pictures on a movie, it's best to run for the exit. But once upon a time, they made one great movie, 1970's Joe. This trailer is from the British release of Joe. It's odd because the film is so quintessentially American. It feels wrong to hear the English narrator chime in, "Joe is a rip snorter." But it's the only trailer available, so I guess it's going to have to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like you to meet Joe.
Joe is a rarity, a counterculture movie from the late 60s, early 70s, told from the point of view of the squares, the hardhats, the unhip parents. Milos Forman's Taking Off has a similar POV, but Milos' take is much sweeter and humanistic. Joe is a punch in the guts. The film has a great plot. A wealthy Madison Avenue ad executive goes looking for his dropout hippie daughter, played by a very young and beautiful Susan Sarandon.
I'll drink to that.
He stumbles upon her scumbag drug-dealing boyfriend and in a rage kills him. Not knowing what to do, he wanders into a working-class tavern to have a drink. There at the bar, drunk, is loudmouthed blue-collar Joe, brilliantly played by Peter Boyle. It's the role that made him a star. Joe is ranting and raving about how he hates hippies and their disrespect for President Nixon and how they all deserve to be shot. And the father blurts out a confession to Joe and then tries to play it off as a joke. But Joe figures out the truth. And instead of turning him into the police, Joe sort of blackmails him into an odd friendship. Turns out the rich guy and the poor guy have a lot in common. I think the film is the best American movie on class ever made. The scene in which Joe and his wife have the rich couple over for dinner is a classic. A lot of people feel that the Archie Bunker character in All in the Family is a ripoff of Joe, and there's something to that.
Kids are getting more than we ever did.
Just the credit cards, man.
You think I'm chicken? This is my beauty. All right, my friend. They're all screwed up, so they're screwing up the culture.
We didn't make them feel old-fashioned like the kids make us feel old-fashioned.
That's enough.
Joe is directed by John Avildsen, years before he wins an Oscar for Rocky. Here he does a great job mixing tone.
Get a haircut.
Maybe your buddy ought to stick to golf.
From the balls out.
Colder than witch's titter. Man, it's no good. It's panther piss. Come on. Get with the Pepsi generation.
The crazy thing about Joe is that
I could blackmail you.
The movie is funny, topical, tragic, and the casting is spot on.
You just balled me. You don't believe me?
You done a real groovy job on her.
Come on, bitch, bastard.
All the physical types are just right. The screenplay is by Norman Wexler, one of the true unsung wonders of the 1970s. His scripts have a great realism and sense of the street. Joe, Serpico, Saturday Night Fever. Wexler gets a well-deserved Oscar nomination for Joe. But Mr. Wexler in real life was apparently a bit of a wild man. He was a partial inspiration for Andy Kaufman's Tony Clifton character. Andy's partner in crime, Bob Zamuda, worked as Wexler's assistant, and his tales of crazy antics and unhinged nights are unbelievably funny.